Welcome to March Madness. I'm Gabe Ibrahim alongside some familiar faces on the Her Hoop Stats podcast. You got Dano Mataya, Calvin Wetzel, Megan Gauer. This is going to be our March Madness crew kind of for the rest of the way. We're all going to be in Dallas covering this thing in the Final Four. So we thought it'd be a great idea to pick an official bracket. Now, I made some rules because I don't know. I got too much time on my hands. But I made some rules for us to do this, and we're going to do it in a fashion where everyone makes the pick. So each selection is made by one person. And then everyone else can, discuss it, disagree with it, and sometimes people can strike it. We'll explain those rules as we go forward. But first and foremost, how y'all doing? How y'all doing on this March? We'll start with Dano.
Great. Support women athletes. Just got my Nick of Mule jersey. I think I wagered way too much money today and yesterday. This is the best part of my life. I hope nobody from work is listening to this because I did not have an important call at this time. I'm recording this with y'all. So, let's get after it. So pumped. Thanks for having me on, Gabe.
Our resident UConn homer, the only person here with any UConn ties or
right.
that would have anything homer to say about UConn is Dano. Calvin, how you doing? You're Illinois Redbirds, Illinois State Redbirds, man, not in the tournament.
They're not in. So that was a bummer. I'm gonna go to their NIT game tomorrow, but no, I'm good. Like Dana said, it's my favorite month. It's my favorite couple of weeks. And Gabe, I'll just have to say with these UConn, now that we got two UConn people, if we pick UConn in the championship, me and you have to strike it. We're saving at least one strike for that.
I was pretty high on UConn, and I'm just gonna erase all of that stuff. So who they got in the first round? Vermont. Vermont's a good team, right? Vermont's a great team. Megan, how you feeling? How you feeling as we start March?
Like UConn's probably going to beat Vermont, but also good. I'm getting sick of my own voice because this is like podcast number 4 of the week, I think.
Get ready, girl. We got a lot more podcasts coming as we go along here in March. Last year we did a ton of stuff at the Final Four. It was just a blast, and this year we're trying to do the same thing, starting now in the first round and getting all the way down to the Final Four. But all that starts with a bracket. So let's start with the rules here that I put together. If you're on YouTube, you can see this. If you're not on YouTube, it's okay, man. Like you can just listen because this is also a non-visual medium to some people. So here are the rules for the bracket. We have each selection will be made by one person. So we're gonna create a random order. I don't know about every 4, but maybe every 8, maybe at the end of every regional. We should have talked about that before we got on here. Then at the end in the Final Four, we will have to vote. And because there's 4 of us, someone's going to need to be convinced if there's a split. That's the only way we can do it. Someone's just going to need to be convinced. All right, so that's how we're doing the Final Four. And then this is kind of the little thing that I'm throwing in here. Everyone gets 3 strikes. So you can negate someone's selection and then put it to a vote to the other 3 people in the group who did not make the original selection. So we have an odd number of people voting. And then you can change. If everyone decides to change it, you can change it. If people decide to stay, you stay. So you have to use those in a strategic way, perhaps, if you want to get something. If you want to get something going, if you think you don't want a team in a Final Four, or something like that. So are the rules clear, guys? Did I explain that correctly?
Crystal.
Sounds good to me.
All right, let's get to our first wheel. So it's going to be for our first selection. I have a wheel on the screen for our podcast people. We're spinning it.
And are we just going like straight down, like starting with 116 and then keep moving?
Yes.
Okay. All right.
Megan got a tough one.
Yeah.
Megan gets a tough one as we start in the Greenville 1 region. I do want to hear your complaints about how these regions are named. I know we've heard them before. If you want to listen to that on the last Hoop Stats podcast and various other properties in which the 3 people below me have been a part of in the last week, they brought it up. But we'll start here in Greenville 1. Megan, you got South Carolina against Norfolk State. South Carolina comes in as a favorite. It's the reigning champions with a 32-0 record going up against Norfolk State. Did you just want me to hit South
Yeah.
Carolina?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know. They're a 50-point favorite.
Are they actually a 50-point favorite?
It was 49.5 last time I checked.
Think about busting out a strike for that one. I might let it slide though. I'll let it slide.
I mean, you'd have the votes there. All right, let's keep moving. We got a lot of picks to make. Calvin, South Florida versus Marquette. This is a really juicy matchup between two teams that have put a lot on tape that is impressive. Calvin, which way are you going?
This is I like this matchup a lot. It's gonna be really close. A couple defensive teams. I'm going with South Florida because of their rebounding, and because of I can't pronounce her name. I practiced and I still can't do it. But Fanka Menjadu. Does anyone know how close I got?
No idea.
It sounds good enough.
Right. Yeah.
All right, we're gonna go with it. I think she's gonna be the best player on the court. So we're going with South Florida.
Okay. I like South Florida there. Dano, do you have a strike? Or
No,
Megan?
it's a close game for me. I love Marquette. I love Coach Duffy, but yeah, I think the rebounding battle is very important in a game like this that could be low scoring. But also, I mean, South Florida has potential to light it up. So, I give the edge there. So.
Yeah, and South Florida, I mean, like Calvin alluded to, just more size, and I like picking size in the tournament. All right, here we may get some controversy because it's me. I'm picking Oklahoma versus Portland, and maybe I just watched that one game that Portland looked really great in the WCC championship game, but I'm going with Portland. They're a good basketball team.
I love it. I love it.
They're a good basketball team, first off. They beat Gonzaga. Gonzaga's a really good team. Portland has straight up a better defense even when adjusted for the opponent's strength. They're almost, not quite, because Oklahoma's one of the best shooting teams in the country, but they're almost as good at shooting as Oklahoma, and Portland kind of slows down the game enough that they're going to limit Oklahoma's transition, that athleticism. So I'm going with Portland. Now, everyone good with that?
I wouldn't have picked it, but I'm not going to waste a strike on it.
Same as Megan. I like it though. Love Alex Fowler. Love Lucy Cochran.
Yeah, Alex Fowler. He's really, really talented. Did no one else have this in their bracket? Did no one else pick Portland in their own?
Oh, I picked Portland. Yes, I love it. Even though I'm a big OU fan, shout out to T. Rob, had her on the pod, but sorry, you guys can't guard anybody.
Exactly.
And playing on the West Coast, right? Yeah, playing in LA. So I love that. A lot of travel for Oklahoma, and for Portland, it's like quick 2-hour flight. I don't know, probably far. It's Southern Cal.
Yeah, I think it's probably about the same, right?
I was gonna say Oklahoma might be actually closer.
Yeah.
I don't know. Same time zone though. Same time zone.
That's huge. Body clock.
Huge.
Body clock. Might
Body
get to
clock. I'm gonna come back to that one, Gabe.
Yeah, I know we're coming for the body clock game. All right, Dano, you got UCLA, Sacramento State. Who you got?
Don't even know their mascot, but give me the Sacramento State one.
The Hornets. The Hornets. Come on, Dano.
Give me the Hornets. They're playing inspired basketball right now. UCLA, absolutely vulnerable. If they're not hitting their shots, honestly, I don't believe in them if they don't make their shots. It's going to be an ugly game probably. And I say all this, but I think UCLA does have potential to blow them out. But I think probability-wise, they're not going to shoot that well. And Sacramento State is a team that is prime for an upset. We haven't had a 13 versus 4 in a while, have we?
The COVID year, Arkansas Wright State was the last one. That's the only one in the last decade.
This guy, just off the top of the set.
That's why I love Calvin. Such a genius. Okay, yeah, who's got a strike for me? Please.
Yeah. Everyone's going to be so shocked that I'm using one on UCLA, but
I'm voting against.
That's Megan's girls.
So it's up, Gabe. It's up to you because I'm voting against Megan.
You're voting against Megan?
I'm voting with Dano. Sac State, baby.
No, UCLA is too good defensively and too good on the glass to get upset that early.
Are they?
I don't know.
They're even if the numbers aren't quite there, they're one of the best offensive rebounding teams in the country.
They are. Sacramento State slows it down, so it's going to be hard for UCLA to pull away. They love to shoot the three. And like Portland, with Alex Fowler and Lucy Cochran, they have a really, really good inside-out duo, Kalasia Dean and Izzy Nadabu. So I'm not voting with you, Megan. Sorry, can't do it.
Now I am conflicted. So part of me, I love these. I love the arguments for Sacramento State. Sacramento State, just a resurgent everything sports program. They've been really good in a lot of sports recently. So good for them. I think they're moving up to FBS and football. But that's neither here nor there. So is this game? This game's on Saturday. I want to see some stats here before I make a decision as I quickly scroll through.
It's also at UCLA on UCLA's home court.
Yeah, but someone's gonna get upset at home.
Hey, same time zone, body clock. Sacramento's in California. Just gonna throw that out there. We got some stats. Gabe, you ready for some stats? All right.
I'm looking at my 4 factors here.
Sacramento State, bottom 5 in the country in pace. They're gonna slow.
Hey, if you read,
but UCLA plays slow too, so they're gonna be fine with that.
Also, if you read ballandorder.substack.com, you'll know that pace is not everything it's cracked up to be. Also, you're gonna have to teach me how to figure. I can never get the seconds to shot on CBB analytics. You're gonna have to show me how to get there. I can never find that on any team page. That's just an aside for the podcast. All right, here's my thing. I think I'm leaning Megan, not just because I tend to agree with Megan. But also, just as the cursory glance here, and I know Sacramento State's a really good team. They turned the ball over just a little too much. And I think UCLA is going to be better in transition just because they're more athletic. And Chrisma Osborne is a freaking dog. I think she's playing really well right now. I think Kiki Rice will be able to figure it out. I'm not sure, if there's turnovers, can Sacramento State get back? If they can, then I think they have a really good chance of winning it. I'm just going to go with UCLA just because of that. And also because I don't want to have a 12-13 matchup because those are exceedingly rare. And I really want to see Portland in the next round. So we're changing that one. That's a strike, Dano. Sorry about that.
I just wanted on the record that I picked them. And I love the fact that UCLA has trouble with teams that play slow. Washington State lost back-to-back games against them. Neutral site and at home. Washington State does not have the same talent as UCLA, nor does Sacramento State. But UCLA is not that good. Let's just be honest. 4 seed. Who cares? Who cares? On the record, Dano pick Sac State. Love the Hornets now that I know your mascot name.
And they have talent. I think Kalasia Dean is going to look like the best player on the court in this game.
I love this guy right now, man. All right.
She is very, very talented. She could easily be the best player on the floor. Even like coming into the matchup, is it like crazy to say like coming into the matchup she might be just like playing the best basketball right now?
Yeah, no, I don't think that's crazy at all. I worded it the way I did is because like she's not going to be the best player like long term. Like Chrisma Osborne's going to go to the WNBA, but like right now in this game, she very well might be.
Okay. That's fair. Right. I thought I was going to argue with you if you were saying she's actually the best player. I was like, Chrisma Osborne is a first-round WNBA draft pick.
I think he meant playing the best basketball.
That's fair.
Playing the best basketball, and I think she's going to have the best game.
All right, we'll when we get down through Greenville Run, we'll do another random one here. We'll randomize the order. Let's go back to Megan. You got a game where we don't know who the hell is playing in it. We'll know. By
the time this is released.
By the time you hear this, you'll know who's playing. But it is Creighton against the slash line, Illinois, Mississippi State. Calvin, I don't know if you have this off the top of your head. I know in the men's bracket, one of these slash line teams has gone on to win a first round game every single season, every single year they've had the first 4. How often do they win in the women's game?
Well, last year was the first year that they had it in the women's game.
Right.
And
did someone make it?
They were both. I believe they both lost. Dano, is that right? I think it was. Did Missouri State win? Now I can't remember. I don't know everything off the top of my head.
Dayton beat DePaul, and then.
But in a first round game. Then after that.
Yeah.
I don't think Dayton won a first round game, but I think Missouri State might have. Right?
I'm
looking.
Now.
I'm looking.
Can't remember.
I want to say Missouri State did. I might be wrong.
Dayton did not win. Missouri State did not win.
They did not win. Oh, Missouri State was up by like 10 or 15 and blew it, I think.
Yeah
Lost to Ohio State.
Yep, that's right. Yeah, that's right. So no,
Missouri State.
no one has ever done this in a women's game, but they're 0 for 2.
Wait. There's 2 other games, right? What? Oh, those are 16
Yeah,
seeds. Tom?
16.
Yeah.
16.
Longwood.
Yeah.
They
They
didn't.
did not
They
win.
didn't win.
No.
I
0 for
remember
4.
that.
0 for 4.
I think we would have remembered if one of the 16 seeds. won.
Yeah.
I forget.
All right.
Sorry.
So Megan, all right, let's get back to it. Creighton, though, I will say Illinois and Mississippi State, pretty good basketball teams. I love Creighton. I think Megan also loves Creighton.
Of course she does.
As a Big Easter and as a guy who just like watched them in the Greensboro region last year and they beat Iowa State, so it was super fun. So Creighton or mystery team?
I think this is going to be a close one. Like, I think this is a close 6-11. I'm still going to go with Creighton, but I think it's hard to talk about it because you don't know who they're actually playing. But I do think it could be a close one, but I do think Creighton will win out. They've got a lot of experience. It's a team that went through pretty much the whole roster other than their point guard is back from last year's team that made that run. And I think that they'll be able to get that win.
Strike.
I love it. Oh, no. Okay.
I knew that was coming.
I think the Illini are going to win, but even if they don't, I just think Creighton needs shooting to win. And
they get shooting.
Yeah, but I think Illinois can shoot better, and I think Mississippi State can guard them better. So I'm taking one of them. Y'all can agree to disagree.
Okay.
You're using a strike, you're saying, Dano?
Yeah. So if I use my strike and it doesn't win, I still lose. It's like losing a challenge, right?
It's like losing a challenge. Yeah, you just lose it.
Oh man!
And if you get
if
you get your last one right, you get to keep it. How about that?
I was about to say, if we're doing challenges, you should get more if you keep hitting them.
Yeah.
Right?
Okay.
You hit all 3.
I like it. I like it.
I think it's like the challenge rule, which is stupid, right? If you hit the first one and you miss the second one, it doesn't matter. You have to hit the second one. So I think the third one is the one you got to hit to get another one.
Okay, then forget it. Forget it. I don't want to use it on this game.
Wow.
All right.
Okay, so Creighton stays by the hair on their chin. Okay, Notre Dame, Southern Utah. I don't know a lot about Southern Utah, but I know some about Notre Dame that I'm not excited about, considering we don't know still if Olivia Miles is going to play in this game. I saw her at the ACC tournament. Gotta be honest, she couldn't really walk, so I'd be pretty surprised if she plays. Not impossible though. So I think we're on Calvin. Taking that into account, who you got?
Yeah, I mean, it's not impossible for Southern Utah to win this game, but even without Olivia Miles, I don't see it happening. Shout out to them for making their first tournament ever in history, thanks to that crazy, ridiculous shot. I think Dano tweeted out. They're not beating Notre Dame with or without Olivia Miles.
Well, okay.
Yeah.
We're all in agreement there.
Yeah.
Shouts to Sonia Citron. Go off, girl. All right. Now we're getting down to the College Park bracket that I'll be attending to, and I've seen a lot of these. Oh, it's me. I'm back. All right, cool. Now me and Calvin get to have a disagreement here because I'm going with Arizona.
Gabe. Body clock.
I'm going with Arizona. I just think Arizona is just like flat out a better basketball team in a lot of different regards, but also I think just like the way West Virginia wins is also the way that Arizona wants to win. And I think Arizona just does those things a little better. I'm also a little bit concerned about J.J. Quinterly's health. I haven't seen anything or heard anything, but I watched their last game in the Big 12 quarterfinals or whatever, the first round they were in. And she got hurt, then she came back, and she got hurt again and had to be carried off. It might have been like one of those cramp situations, but I was a little concerned about it. And I just think Arizona is going to have the strength, which is the fast break opportunities and causing turnovers and getting out on the break, whereas West Virginia will not have as many opportunities to get out on the break. And I think Arizona will also have an advantage in the post. That's why I got Arizona. Now, Calvin, explain the whole body clock thing.
All right, so this game, first off, this game is in Maryland, which is right next to West Virginia. So West Virginia
200 miles.
Pseudo home court. We're gonna have fans, and Maryland's on the
It's not
East
that
Coast.
close. West Virginia's not that
closer
close.
than Arizona. It's a lot.
It's
they border
200
each other.
miles. I looked it up today. 200 miles.
It's like 4 hours.
Yeah.
That's a decent drive. That's a day
200
trip.
miles, yeah.
That's a day trip. You don't have to get a hotel. They should, though. West Virginia fans should be in a hotel because they're going to be there another day, but they don't have to. The thing is, this game also tips off in the East Coast noon, which means 9 a.m. Arizona's body time. Gabe, I know you're a football fan. How does that ever work in the NFL for West Coast teams who go on the East Coast and play that early slot in their body clock?
I mean, it's honestly a mixed bag, so it's not like the best example. But like, yeah, no, I get it. You're starting 9 a.m.
Well.
No, it depends. Also, like when did Arizona get here? Like, has their body clock adjusted? You know, have they played any East Coast teams this year? Arizona?
No, they have not been east of Dallas.
They haven't been east of Dallas.
Good note, Dana. Good note.
Yeah, but they're all like 20 years old. Their body clocks adjust a lot faster than ours do.
Yeah. They're still a Pac-12 team, okay? And Pac-12.
Also,
so much West Coast.
If anything,
hate.
when you're 20 years old, 9 a.m. is worse because 20-year-olds love to sleep in.
Yeah, but
you're
they're
a
probably
basketball
having
player,
like 7 a.m. practice. Like that's that's not that weird for them.
When you're a basketball player, I feel like it doesn't really matter.
They're not your average college student.
in that regard, in terms of waking up and playing a basketball game at that time does seem difficult. But I just think Arizona's just like better, and I think they'll get over that. I think it'll be pretty close. I think it'll be closer than the game than it probably should be.
For what it's worth, Arizona's the better basketball team. We agree on that.
I think Arizona's a solid pick there. Hearing no strikes.
I just do want it on the record that I'm with Cal on this. Both teams force a lot of turnovers and take care of the ball at the same time. Arizona is coming into this game 0-3 against the spread, 0-3 straight up. Meanwhile, West Virginia, who is doubted by the world, nobody loves this team except Calvin and I. Madison Smith is a baller, averaging 25 a game right now for the past 4. I just think Dawn is Dawn 2.0, right?
Yeah. By the way, Dawn made the Elite 8 last year.
She's a great coach.
Both Dawns.
Is she a great coach?
I think she made the Sweet 16. Lost to Michigan. But is she a great coach? Absolutely. And you know what? Last year, 10 seed, South Dakota, 4-point underdog, wins outright by 14 points. Give me Dawn. Give me West Virginia. Not using my strike, but I just want Gabe to know that he was wrong. And and that's it.
Adia Barnes led the lowest seeded team to ever make the championship Just for the just talking about its tournament success. Also, I just want to point out one last thing.
Mickey Mouse Championship.
Well, hey, they still got there, and West Virginia worst team in the worst at large bid in the tournament via net rating and her hoop stats rating by a kind of substantial margin.
They shouldn't be in the tournament, to be fair.
There's an argument that they shouldn't be in the tournament. You know who else shouldn't have been in the tournament? VCU men in 2011. They made the Final Four. So.
And you know what?
Yeah, but they should have because they were good. They were good in the mid-majors.
This team doesn't matter if you're good. It matters what your resume
This is the opposite of VCU. This is like a team that doesn't deserve to be in because they're in the Big 12.
Want it known, West Virginia beat Kansas. And Kansas beat the hell out of Arizona.
Transitive property.
Just,
I feel like with the transitive property, you could probably say any team in this bracket is going to win the Final Four.
It's a common opponent. It's a common opponent. I'll give you that.
No, I'm just saying. West Virginia, just don't sleep on them right now. They've gotten a lot hotter. Okay, let's move on.
Did West Virginia beat? Okay, we're gonna move on. Dano. That's a good idea. All right, Dano, you're up. You got Maryland versus Holy Cross.
Oh, gosh. It's in College Park. Yeah, let's go Maryland. Next.
Okay.
He had to make sure he knew where the game was before he picked Maryland.
That makes sense.
Just in case Holy Cross is winning at home.
For what it's worth, aren't 14 and 15 seeds like 0 and like 200?
Yeah, they've never won. Never won a game.
not. This game is not in Worcester, Massachusetts. Worcestershire.
All right, hey, we made it
Worcester.
through.
Worcester, Massachusetts.
Are we
Who gives a
finishing?
All right, let's start. So we're
Second round.
all right. I think we should go. Yeah, second round here. Also, just really quick, Brenda Fries has never lost in the first round of the NCAA tournament ever. All right, let's just go on to the second round. We don't have to move brackets here. So we're gonna go down to Megan. Megan, you got South Carolina versus South Florida. Battles of the South. Second year in a row, South Carolina has to play a team from South Florida in the second round. I think this game will be equally gross. Yeah, they played Miami last year. It was like 20 to 10 or something. Final score. This game might be just as gross. South Carolina, South Florida. Who you got?
South Carolina.
All right, moving on. All right. Calvin, you got UCLA, Portland.
I didn't have either of these teams in my bracket, so I had to just think about this matchup real quick. But you know what? I actually am not going to think about the matchup at all from a basketball perspective. I'm just going to go with Portland because it's more fun and because Megan's going to hate it.
Yes,
I'm not going to use another flag gun.
All right, let's go.
UCLA.
Portland 16.
I have to save them for later.
Fly Pilots.
Pilots are flying high.
Second weekend, Portland Pilots flying in. Oh man, then congratulations, Portland. You now have to play South Carolina in Greenville, South Carolina.
Yeah, I'm not wasting a flag on a team that we're gonna make lose in the next round. Anyway.
Yeah, I'm not.
Are we?
Yes.
Yes. Someone will use a flag on you for that.
It's me. It's me up next. Creighton versus Notre Dame. It's a toughie because I think, again, I'm going under the assumption that Olivia Miles will not be there for at least the first week. That is my assumption. If it is wrong, fantastic news. We all want to see Olivia Miles play. Can they beat Creighton without Olivia Miles? I think the answer is yes. Actually, I do.
They scored 38 points against Louisville.
Louisville
is scoring 38 points.
But they're not. I mean, Creighton's
Creighton
defense.
the team that went a whole quarter without a bucket in one game?
Yeah, Creighton's defense is not in the same. Is
Still hit that
playing
over.
the same sport as Louisville's defense, to be honest.
But they're gonna shoot.
That's great. No, but I don't think Notre Dame can score, but they just put in their Sonya's sophomore into a position she had never played before against a really good defense and a really good coach.
Oh,
yeah. I think by this game, by then in whatever 2 days,
she'll figure it out. Yeah.
She'll have a plan. She'll be able to figure it out. I think she'll be much better. All that being said, I am taking Creighton.
Yes.
I am taking Creighton.
I was about to say, are you kidding me?
I was getting so pissed for a second.
I just want to make an argument. I feel bad because I really like the Notre Dame team.
All right.
Yeah, I don't think.
Yeah, I feel really bad for them. But their situation absolutely sucks. But without Olivia Miles without there, maybe they're not going very far.
They're not going to be Creighton.
You can skip mine. It's not even close. Get Arizona. Send them to the off season as fast as possible.
Them Terps, the Terps of Maryland. Okay, so that's Dano just picked. All right, back to Megan. Thank God. For South Carolina, Portland.
South Carolina once again.
Should we give any analysis on South Carolina? I mean, they're good.
No.
They're good.
No.
They're good. There's nothing else to say.
Not yet. We'll do that in the championship.
Yeah.
This is a saucy matchup here. I really, honestly, this would be an awesome game to watch. Creighton versus Maryland. Calvin, I think it's.
Is it me?
Yeah, Calvin. Yes.
I do love that matchup a lot. It'd be really fun. I'm gonna go with Maryland though.
Okay.
We saw Creighton made the Elite Eight last year, but Maryland's just better. You know, they have more talent, and they've been playing their best basketball in the last couple months.
I agree. I think that, and they're kind of set up to be the team like Creighton, right? Creighton likes to be small and run around the court. Guess what Maryland likes to do? Small, run around the court. So I agree there. That's we'll put Maryland over Creighton, seeing no objections. And now we come to me. Oh man, Dano, I'm mad you don't get to make this pick.
I know.
Wait, I thought we said we were voting on the Final Four.
No, we vote in the Final Four.
Oh, in the Final Four. Okay.
In the Final Four, we vote. But I mean, but were we going to vote someone?
Yeah, not that it matters here. I'm just making sure I understood the rules.
Wait,
in case it matters later.
All right, so we're gonna be basic and take South Carolina. Come on now.
These two teams played earlier.
South
this
Carolina is going to the Final Four. Yeah.
Well,
Diamond Miller did not play that game.
But is Diamond Miller worth 25 points? Is the question.
Possibly, but I still think South Carolina's going to win that game.
I don't know if she is.
Didn't she
I don't know if
have?
anyone's worth 25
Wait,
points.
she had close to 20 points in when they played 2 years ago. Did she not? I'm looking it up because now I need to know if I'm right. I'm pretty sure she scored.
But, well, I'm not saying is she going to score 25 points. I'm saying is she worth 25 points of margin?
I don't
know if
think
there's
so.
any.
No. I mean,
Okay.
South Carolina.
Okay.
Dana, you want to make a case?
Yeah. Brenda Freese
Right.
is a elite mind. There is a recipe for beating South Carolina this year, and teams have done it. Teams have done it in the first half. Dawn's a queen at making adjustments. It's just being proactive against those adjustments. It is doable. I don't think this is an absolute walkover for South Carolina. Like, I think out of all the 2 seeds, except maybe UConn, this is probably who they want to play the least, in my personal opinion. And Maryland just got to hit shots, but I understand if we take South Carolina. I just want to let you know it's a basic pick.
I think there's a recipe to beat South Carolina. I don't think Maryland has the ingredients to do so. I think they're just going to get boarded to all hell.
It's cute. Yeah.
And they're just going to get boarded. And that's just how it's going to be because you can't play zone. You can't, it's not going to work. They don't have what it takes. You just have to be able to play a man, and they cannot do that. So we're going with South Carolina into the Final Four for 3 straight years. Right.
3 straight years. Yep.
Yes.
4 straight tournament? No, they didn't make it in 2019, right?
I don't remember.
Did make Final
who was in
Four?
the Final Four? No, they weren't. They were not in the Final Four in 2019. No.
But they probably would have been in
Let's-
2020.
Yeah, but 3 straight tournaments.
I say like we skip the 1 and 2 games. You know what I mean?
Sure.
Yeah. No one's picking first round upset for those. That's fair.
Okay, then we'll have Stanford move on. No shade to Southern, and who's the other team here?
Sacred Heart.
Sacred Fart. All right.
How dare you?
It's like
The Connecticut hate is starting before we even get to UConn's bracket.
it's a Scrubs joke, guys. All right, Sacred Fart. Sorry about that. Iowa over Southeast Louisiana. Iowa, good basketball team over there. Okay, we're gonna hit the randomizer though. Congrats, Megan. Let's see if you get it again. Who's starting us off in what stupid name is this? Seattle 4. Isn't it supposed to be Seattle 2?
It's rigged.
Boo. Boo.
Your wheel is rigged, dude.
All right. Megan, you got Ole Miss Gonzaga.
I'm going to go with Ole Miss here. Their defense is really, really good.
Sure. I'm okay with
Damn,
that.
that was so quick. I mean, I hope so. But damn, yeah, that's gonna be a damn good game.
Yeah. No disrespect to Gonzaga, it will be a good game, but I just think Ole Miss's defense is good enough for them to win that.
And they got a defense that should do well in the tournament, right? Like cause a lot of turnovers, press. All right, good. All right, Ole Miss. Moving on. Let's go. Louisville, Drake. It's Calvin's turn. Calvin, you wrote about this. Had a lot of Drake song lyric puns on the Her Hoop Stats newsletter. Louisville versus Drake. Who you picking here?
I tried to get as many as possible. I don't actually like Drake as an Illinois State fan, but I think they're going to win this game. So I'm going with them. Having just seen what they did in person for the last 3 games in the Missouri Valley tournament and earlier in the season, honestly, for the last several years, that offense is an absolute migraine to guard. And I know Jeff Walls is a defensive savant, and he has some of the best defensive game plans in basketball history. You look at how he, played Brittany Griner or Sabrina Ionescu, some of those famous games. But this Louisville team is just not the same team as some of those that we've seen in the last decade. The defense that got them to the Final Four, their defense has really taken a huge step back this year. And Drake's cooking right now, so I'm going with Drake.
I think I'm gonna use a strike here. I'm
surprised. ACC homer over here.
I'm unabashed ACC homer, and I did get to watch this team. I just think they're gonna like Calvin said. we have a defensive genius. We have someone who's has a lot of time here to prepare for a unique attack. And I think Haley Van Lith can cook. I think she's gonna have opportunities. I really love the way Olivia Cochran's playing. I just think Louisville knows how to win these games, and I think in this particular one, they're gonna have a lot of time to prep. I think they're gonna be able to devise a really good defense for Drake. So Megan and Dano, we need your votes. We'll go to Dano first, since he's definitely gonna disagree with me.
No, I'm gonna take Louisville.
Damn.
I do think Drake covers, but I'm sorry, man. I love you. Drake's gonna cover.
Well, I mean, it's like +4, so if they cover, they're gonna be right there.
Plus 5.5. But yeah.
+5. Oh, it's moving. It's moving against me. That's a bad sign.
Yeah.
And so, did you have a vote, Megan?
I was gonna vote for Louisville, but I don't think we have to argue about it any longer.
No.
Like, we've covered the draw.
The successful strike.
Sorry,
there.
Calvin.
Sorry, Calvin. We'll probably bring up Louisville again in a strike in the future if I get in charge of that. Okay,
God.
I'm picking here. So I'm really open to suggestion here. No offense, Dano, but Texas is how should we put this? Inconsistent.
Is this my pick?
No, it's me.
Oh,
it almost worked out, but I do want to hear like how radical is the path for ECU to win this game?
ECU is not that good. It's not gonna happen.
That's what I thought. That's what I thought.
Not beating Texas.
Yeah, I could just see like Texas is a team I would think to lose a first round game. I just didn't think this was the one, so I'm glad we're all good on Texas. Now we go to Dano for Colorado, Middle Tennessee State.
All right, come on, Dano, don't let me down.
Yeah, Middle Tennessee State. It's not even a question. They're favored as they should be. They're playing better basketball. Colorado's not playing at home. They don't do well outside of playing at home. I love the Raiders here. I think they are tested. They have what it takes. Give me them.
They've been ranked a lot of times this year, and they're like Sacramento State. They slow the game down and they shoot threes. They stopped Louisville, by the way, who you guys love. So
that was like in November, right? Or December.
Yes.
That was in December. Colorado. I mean, Colorado is a team that's like super fast and reliable. I have Colorado though. I'm not striking here because I understand. I just think there's too many people in Middle Tennessee State. When you have to I just don't like the sexy upset pick. Not a huge fan of it.
It's not. I feel like it's not an upset. Yeah, it's like they're just flat out the better team.
They're underseeded.
They're favored. So
I understand they're favored,
and it's not an upset.
It is absolutely an upset. There's an 11 next to their name. There's a 6 next to the name of the
other.
It's categorically an upset. Whatever random people you have making the books over there. They I don't care about them. I only listen to the NCAA committee, okay? It's the only
they
source
get everything
I trust.
right.
They nail it all the time. Middle Tennessee State over Colorado.
I can't argue with that.
We're going to Megan for Duke Iona.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think Duke is going to go very far in this tournament, but I'm going to pick Duke in that one. They've got to score more to go anywhere much further, but.
Yeah, they'll beat a bad team. And
it's worth mentioning, though. Iona also slows it down and shoots threes. Those are the teams that pull upsets. I don't think they're going to do it, but it might be closer than people think. It's going to be closer than any of the other three.
I feel like every Duke game is close because no one ever scores more than like 50 points.
This could be 55 to 50.
If Kara Lawson plays like 10 people in this game again, I might lose my mind. There's so many subs coming in and out for Duke, and that's why they can never get any offense going. So maybe Iona. Honestly, that could be a nice upset pick. Thank you, Calvin, for that information. All right, Calvin, you're up. The Florida State Seminoles, Georgia
that's
Bulldogs.
A tough one.
This is.
Do we know anything about Latson's health?
I was going to ask. This is one where I think we've had a couple already like this, where the injury news is a big deal. Gabe, do you know anything? You're the ACC guy.
I have not seen. When Florida State played in the ACC tournament, they played Wake Forest, and there was like no announcement until someone said, "Hey, look, Tiana Latson's in a boot over there," and I was like, "Well, doesn't look like she's playing. So she was not dressed. I don't know what the situation is. I didn't see her like walking or anything. I have not seen any news on her.
Got a tweet.
You got a tweet?
Florida State coach Brooke Wyckoff was asked about the status of freshman guard and leading scorer. She laughed and said day to day.
I saw that tweet. Yeah,
Keep
she
it
said
big.
that tells us
She
nothing.
said she said that at the tournament too. But if she laughed, how'd she
Yeah.
laugh? What was her body
I need
language?
more details.
Nah, that I
Wait,
don't know.
We
is
need to
that
analyze
from
the
the
video.
ACC tournament or is that recently?
That was yesterday at 6:38
Okay.
p.m.
I was
That
going to
must
say
have
no
been-
one was saying anything during conference tournaments because they don't.
We need to break down the play-by-play of this video here. No, here's the thing, though. I think even with Tanai Latson, this is a pretty close game. So if we just say 50-50, 60-40, whatever that she plays, I have to go with Georgia in this one. Their defense is so good. Megan brought it up on our other pod. It's basically UCF 2.0 from last year, the UCF team that almost made the Sweet 16.
Diamond.
UConn. So exactly, Diamond Battles.
We all deserve Diamond
You
Battles
know
versus
who
Caitlin
probably
Clark.
wants Tanaya Latson to play is Diamond Battles, because Diamond Battles is like, let me go lock up Tanaya Latson so that everyone can see how good I am. Like, so Diamond Battles is a dog. I'm taking Georgia.
I like the dogs. The dogs. I'm guessing no one knows that video. Okay, never mind. All right, going back up to the top of the bracket. You guys ever seen the Spurrier You Think Visors Are Cool video? No one? No. All right, that's a really deep cut for some college football fans. Someone's gonna be like, that's an amazing cut. All right, Stanford Ole Miss is mine. It's more interesting.
It is.
Than I think I would expect it to be, but I think Stanford ultimately comes out on top. At home, body clock.
I don't think they'll cover, but yeah.
Body clock.
Yeah, I think ultimately, like Haley Jones and Cameron Brink is enough to win that game.
Yeah, and but it is. We'll see. Yeah, I think Cameron Brink will be enough, and Lauren Betts.
Cameron Brink's been making her free throws now too. She's dangerous.
She has gotten like progressively better on both the foul fronts in terms of making her free throws and not fouling as much. So shouts to her. Maybe I haven't given her enough credit for that. All right, moving down. So that was me. I picked Stanford there. Dano, you got Louisville, Texas.
Yes, sir. You know where I'm picking. It's not even close. I dare you. To strike me. Give me the horn.
Hook them.
Horns. I go strike that. I love Texas. I just don't necessarily believe in them.
I
do really like them.
Sonia Morris, hearing good things from my people.
Oh, really?
Hearing good things.
Good.
They need that. They need someone that can shoot.
Big East legend. Yes, they do.
They do.
The game is going to be ugly.
Oh yeah. Did we have that game in the Bahamas, right? Earlier this season?
Yes.
Oh, yeah, we did.
No sans Rory Harmon though.
Yes, sans Rory Harmon. Back when Texas and Louisville both looked real bad. They look better now.
Yeah.
Man, the Rory Harmon Haley Van Lith matchup is just a Spider-Man pointing meme. tough two. Tough contested two. All right. Moving on to Megan. Middle Tennessee State versus Duke. Get the 11th seed in the Sweet 16.
Yep.
Yeah.
I have no faith in this Duke team. You have to be able to score more points to win games. I'm like all on the like team defense wins champions, but you have to score points too.
Yes, you have to have an offense.
Man, I love Megan. Love it.
I mean, I'm totally in agreement. I mean, whoever came out of that Colorado MTSU game was going to beat Duke for me because I don't think they just have like no way of getting more offense either. It's just like you either going to make the long twos or you're not, and they typically don't.
Yeah, I mean they had an incredible amount of success this season for a team that literally has no offense, but it's still just I don't see them winning in March.
This whole pod is under City though. By the way, all 3 games. It doesn't matter who wins. All 3 games.
Yeah.
All right, we got Iowa, Georgia for Calvin.
Yeah, I like this game a lot. It's just so contrasting, and I'm interested to see if Megan uses strike on me on this one because I know where she's going. But I'm rolling with Iowa. I don't think Georgia quite has enough.
Yeah,
100%.
I know
I'm
Iowa's
not-
shortcomings.
It's not even close.
No, whoa. I'm gonna give you the why it will be close, but I also would roll with Iowa. But okay, so we talked about Georgia is literally UCF 2.0. I accidentally called them UCF on our other podcast when talking about them because it literally is the same team. And someone on Twitter who I forget who brought to my attention that Iowa and UCF actually did play, not this year, but last year. So they basically played this team, and it was an 8-point game at Iowa. And Brittany Smith did not play for UCF in that game, which is a huge loss for what was that UCF team. Now is that Georgia team. She's their post player. Iowa's post defense is questionable at best. So I think this is going to be an interesting matchup because I think with her, obviously it's a closer game. And I don't think I'm picking the upset, but I wouldn't be shocked if Georgia pulled it off.
It's fair.
Fair.
I think Caitlin Clark is going to. I mean, she has been stopped.
She struggled
at.
Yeah, she's going to struggle. Diamond Battles is a really good defender. That's going
I'll
to
say
be
this.
a tough
say
matchup
this.
for her. I think she shot 27% in that game last year against UCF. I looked it up. It was, yeah.
I think they learned their lesson from what happened against Creighton last year to go to the Sweet 16.
It's
so
a very different game than Creighton, though.
I
think that's the game. The Creighton game is more of the one that Iowa tends to lose.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just don't believe in Georgia scoring enough. I don't believe in their transition defense. But I will say, Iowa fans on Twitter, I posted this photo of a mock-up Sports Illustrated thing, and no other fan base made a negative comment except for Iowa fans. So I would love it if Georgia won because Iowa fans just need to be taken down a notch. So if all Iowa fans hate me after this, it's completely fine. I just needed to say that.
Yeah,
I wouldn't mind seeing.
I think they learned their. Yeah, I think it would be interesting. I think it could happen.
Maybe these Iowa fans get humbled. Hopefully, because they did come at my boy Dano for no reason, despite his excellent work on the Sports Illustrated cover, which everyone should go check out.
Yes.
I'm looking at Iowa's scores. So you have to score. It seems like you got to score at least 84 points to beat them. That's been the trend this year. I would say that's probably about right.
Scored 69 versus UCF last year.
No, but the other team had to score. This year, the other teams the teams that beat them have scored 84 points or more. They're averaging 89.5. Georgia has scored 80 or more on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 occasions this season.
That's more than I thought.
That's even more than that. There's some Kennesaw State games in there.
Yeah, it's that kind of game. But I just don't think Iowa's since that UCF game, and especially not this year, they haven't played anyone that's like a SEC style defense, and it's very different from what they've seen all year.
Oh, what is happening? I mean, Paul Feinbaum over here. This isn't the national championship game. We're not talking about SEC speed. The conference hasn't been good. It's been a bad conference. I want to hear about the great defenses in the SEC.
It's still a different style. It's like the Big Ten style versus the SEC style. It's like the polar opposite styles of basketball.
Yeah, let's advance. Let's advance.
We're advancing.
Sorry.
Stanford, Texas. So I had, and again here, I had whoever was winning that Louisville, Texas game, moving on past Stanford. I had Louisville there. I think Texas is a much better matchup for Stanford. Maybe not a much better matchup. I just feel like they're a better matchup.
Yeah, I think so.
So I'm open to suggestion. And I'll hear Dano out. I think I'm going with Stanford, but is there a really good reason I should pick Texas?
One, they beat them before. I'll say that. Beat them before.
Sure.
Last year just didn't have what it takes to get over the hump. This year, I think what they lack in shooting, they can make up for because they're better than they were last year defensively. And Vic finds a way. He's been to 5 straight Elite Eights. I definitely think getting a rematch also is like an added edge in back-to-back tournaments. But I think the safe pick is Stanford. Cameron Brink is she's too good. She's too good. I'm not so much worried about Haley Jones. I think it's another game that's going to end like 55-52. Just ugly game. Stanford makes more free throws. Rory Harmon, lover, doesn't shoot enough threes and can't make her free throws. I would take Stanford.
Yeah, I just think Stanford's going to be able to get to the rim a little bit more. I think it's going to come down to like a few possessions, and I think they just have those extra possessions at the rim where if they finish, that'll be it. Although the point about Vic Schaefer making it to how many Elite Eights is it? How many straight Elite? Five? Been 5 Elite Eights. Wow. That's a really good point, and he's a great coach. I think Stanford's going to win there. So going Stanford, and now we're going down to Middle Tennessee State versus Iowa, and that's Dano's selection.
It's Caitlin Clark's year, and we're just as much as I talked about disliking Iowa fans, I'm picking them to advance to the Elite Eight. This will be Caitlin Clark's first Elite Eight. Am I wrong?
Yeah.
Yes.
No, yeah, it will be.
Yeah.
It was the Sweet 16 when they lost to UConn 2 years ago, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
1 versus 4, I think, or 1 versus 5.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's also, where you're talking to someone who believes in conspiracy theories, she's going to get a ton of calls. They're going to get a ton of calls in that game. Iowa, for sure.
Iowa. Moving on. Hearing no objections. We move on to the Elite Eight, which I'm sure there will be objections. Stanford, Iowa, served up to Megan on a plate. Who are you going with?
Oh, everyone's going to be shocked to hear I'm going with Stanford. I really don't think it's not so much that I have that much faith in Stanford. It's just I don't think Iowa can make it an elite or a Final Four with their defense.
I mean, guys, how
but
many
this
points?
bracket, I don't know, this whole group of teams is no one's trustworthy, so who knows?
I know we talk about Iowa's defense. I mean, no one talks about Iowa's defense more than Megan, which is,
This is fair. It makes me very angry. And I know it's better, but it's still bad.
I just want to let you know, Stanford gave up 72 points to Washington this year.
Stanford's defense has also been bad at times.
72 points to Washington this year. And that was like 2 months ago. Not even a month ago. So
I'm sure Iowa has given up 72 points to a worse team than Washington. Just gonna throw that up there.
Yeah, they probably.
I'm sure of it. I'm sure.
I don't even need to look it up. I'm sure they did. Iowa. They don't guard the lane, and I don't think you can beat Stanford not guarding the paint.
Yeah, you can if you score 100 points.
Yeah. If you run them out of the building, you can. And I'm not. I mean, there's no one I don't know. I mean, their strength is not where Iowa needs to be stopped defensively. I think for Stanford. Is someone using a strike? Cal?
No, I don't trust either of these teams, so not worth it.
Yeah, I don't trust.
I'm with Megan.
I said this yesterday at a podcast, but I don't trust a single team in this region. Not a single one.
Yeah.
You can tell me that Middle Tennessee goes to the Final Four in 3 weeks, and I'll be like, all right.
Yeah. No, by the way, I know Gabe doesn't care about the people who make the odds, but Final Four odds, it's the 1 through 5 seeds, and then it's Middle Tennessee State, 6th in this bracket.
So Miami erasure. We're gonna have some arguments when we get to that side of the bracket in just a minute. All right. So let's take stock just for a second. All right, we're all good on. I think, yeah. I picked Iowa here. I actually have Iowa win the championship. Just to be different. In my different bracket, I have Iowa winning the championship. But also don't look it's crazy. Different. They are the best offense in the the and let me tell you,
have
that whole thing about defense
well to win a championship. You can't win.
Megan, you sound like my dad.
Well.
That whole thing about defense wins championships is complete malarkey. That is not true. Offense wins championships.
I agree
best
with Gabe on
offenses
that.
Okay,
win
but you still have to have an adequate defense.
I think their defense. Well, I don't know. I mean, I think that if your offense
South
is good
Carolina
enough,
going to score 85 points in the paint in that game.
we're not.
Okay,
yeah.
hold on. Let's
do agree
listen to
offense wins
Calvin.
championships.
Calvin, Iowa defense truther. Calvin,
Iowa defensive rebounding truther. We should say that. I agree.
that's
Iowa
a
face
quarter of the
one.
battle.
Iowa doesn't guard anyone, but you're right. That's a quarter of the battle. I told Megan on their other pod. Iowa in the last 2 years has gone from doing absolutely zero things, even remotely well on defense, to doing one thing really, really good. And that's a big deal. So is this defense good? No. But are they way better than they were last year, 2 years ago? Definitely, because – and I get they don't play teams that crash the boards, but they are definitively a better defensive rebounding team than they were last year.
But you can't crash the boards. You cannot crash the boards because they're getting on the break. And you need to get a body on Clark, by your own free throw line, or else she's going to score. So they do two things well on defense. They rebound well and they shoot well. And shooting is a much bigger part of defense than anyone cares to admit. If you make shots, and you can make your opponent play a set defense, you're in much better straights. No matter how good your set defense is, which I know Iowa's is bad. I'm not trying to dispute that. But if you can have one possession and make them play a set defense, which I think Iowa can, then I think you got a good shot, especially against a team like Stanford. Regardless, they're out of our tournament bracket. And our Final Four is currently South Carolina, Stanford. I think those teams have played each other before, maybe in the tournament. I don't know. Maybe that's happened before. All right, moving up to Greenville 2. Let's pick the 1s and 2s because that's what we're doing. Let's head back to the wheel here. If Megan wins again, we're not doing the wheel anymore.
Nope. All right, let's go.
Cal?
What am I picking first? Oklahoma State, Miami.
No,
brother, you better.
Oh, boy.
No, go ahead. I'm not gonna be upset.
We're gonna go with Oklahoma State, Gabe.
What the hell, man?
Cowgirls.
Cowgirl.
Right,
Dano knows. JC Hoyt.
JC Hoyt.
Amazing job this
he's a good
season.
coach.
Amazing job this season. Incredibly hard to guard. Love their transition game. Gabe, are you going to use a strike?
No, that's fine. I mean, I really like Miami. Obviously, I really like Miami, just because I love them. I just think this team, they don't quite have the offensive togetherness that they had last year. I think they're struggled to score, and it's just, I think Miami's going to win. Just for the record, I think Miami's going to win. I could totally see Oklahoma State winning. They're a very good basketball team. Actually, it should be one of the better games in the first round, in my opinion. I think that'll be super fun. I think that'll be super duper fun. Two good coaches going at it. And I will say this: Katie Meyer, when she's a higher seed, she tends to lose in the first round. So if she's like a 5 seed, we're definitely losing to the 12 seed. But if she is an 8 seed, she tends to win that first round game. So that's all I'll say if you're picking at home. So Miami out of the tournament unceremoniously dumped by my guy Calvin. All right, now we come to FGCU Washington State. Well, what do the odds makers say about this one? Even though it's obviously FGCU is the underdog.
Yeah,
I mean,
they are also favored by the books. FGCU.
I'll say they opened at 3.5. It's down to a pick 'em.
Well, so Washington State's hot. And I think, Megan, I don't know where you brought this up in one of the properties you've been on. But you said why there's always a team that comes into the tournament really hot on the conference run or whatever, and then they immediately flame out. And Washington State looks like that team this year. I'm with it. And I also think FGCU is awesome, and they're shooting arrows, as they like to say. And they're moving on again, second year in a row, moving on to the second round.
Yeah, I did say that. I don't know where I said it anymore because I've lost track, but I did say it.
I'm pretty sure it was on the podcast with you and Calvin. It might have been on the what was it, the Bleacher Report thing? I don't know. There's been too much. There's been too much. No, there hasn't been too much. We love seeing these guys on everything, but there's been a lot of stuff in my brain.
It's been a lot.
Villanova, I'm sorry, this is going to Dano. Villanova, Cleveland State. Dano, Oh, damn,
let me get striked by Megan. Cleveland State.
God.
Oh,
I'm definitely using it.
The fighting Norris Coles. Sorry.
Maddie Seacrest is too good. They're not going to lose that game.
They almost lost to DePaul twice. Guess who beat DePaul? Transitive property again. No, I just think I'm being serious. I'm being serious. Cleveland State is like way too good this year to go around or to go down quietly. I think, especially in their position, Villanova is like, they're good, but they're not like. I think you might have said you could see them, making a run at this. I don't believe them.
Megan has them in her Final Four.
Yeah,
I know, it's crazy to me.
Yeah, Villanova in your Final Four?
Yeah. I'm not going to do that extreme here. Well, I just
hates
I don't
Midwest.
trust anyone I don't hate the Midwest. I just don't.
She's
trust
such an
anyone in this bracket either.
East Coast.
And I do trust Maddie Seacrest.
East Coast.
All right, so are you using your strike? Are you using your strike?
I am using a strike on the first round for them because there's no way they're going to lose in the first round. They haven't lost to a team not named UConn since December. They're not going to lose in the first round of the tournament. As good, I do think Cleveland State is one of the best 13 seeds in this tournament. They're still not going to beat Villanova.
How many Big East teams are really better than this Cleveland State team? Is the question.
Yeah, for real.
Marquette.
Okay. Oh, are they?
All right, so we have a strike. Me and Calvin need a vote because it was Dano's pick. So Calvin and I are voting. I'll let Calvin go first because then I'll just make it. Well, unless you want to make the decision, Calvin, at the end.
Oh,
I kind of want to hear your points here.
Yeah, you made the decision last time.
Okay,
you go first.
Then I'll give it to you. Oh man. No, wait, I'm making the decision because if I vote for Villanova, I'm voting for Cleveland State's group. Give me that, Calvin.
All right. Here's the thing. I actually picked Nova in my bracket, but I also have FGCU going in the Sweet 16, which is definitely more likely to happen in our bracket if we get Cleveland State. Plus, have any of you guys seen Destiny Leo's step back? Just want to know.
Oh my God, Destiny 3-0.
Destiny 3-0. That's what I'm talking about. Who's gonna guard Destiny Leo?
Who's going to guard Maddie Seacrest?
But who's going to guard Destiny Leo?
Everyone's going to guard Maddie Seacrest.
That's true. They're all five going to guard Maddie Seacrest.
Everyone's going to guard
at the same
Maddie
time.
Seacrest.
At the same time.
It's Cleveland like that Maryland game against against Iowa, where everyone guarded Caitlin Clark and it worked out.
Yeah.
I have my favorite song is called by Ellie Goulding. Anything Can Happen. That's what I believe of Cleveland State. So thank you, Calvin.
Okay. On that note, I need to shout out my guy Dan Lensby from Illinois State. He's the strength coach. Quote Dan Lensby: "If you put on a uniform and lace up your shoes, you can win in March."
Sure,
love that.
Sure. Except for our 16 seeds and our 15 seeds who we've ceremoniously dispatched without any conversation.
How many people it's only Megan that striked me, right? She's used 2 of her strikes on me.
I've used 2, which now I'm thinking might have not have been a good idea.
Well, you still have one.
I wanted to save that for UConn.
You have to use the one wisely. You have to use the one. We got a lot of strikes here, folks, so you can start. I got 2.
I'm hoarding. I'm going to bust them out.
All right, we got Michigan, UNLV for game. Megan.
UNLV. I'm going with the upset pick here.
I just hates the Midwest.
Midwest. Like Las Vegas is.
She calls it soda.
Kind of. I don't know.
It's a great pick, Megan. It's a great pick.
I think this is.
I mean, it's the favorite. Like what probably a lot of upset pick. A lot of people are making. UNLV is good. Michigan has not looked good lately either. But yeah, I think UNLV.
Yeah, I'm with it. I think we're all in agreement there, which makes me very, very nervous. They're running Rebs.
Those are the bad ones.
Yeah, that doesn't feel that good. All right, we're going to Calvin for LSU Hawaii. Who you got?
Tough one.
I love the Rainbow Wahine, but LSU. I don't think we need to talk about it too much.
Unfortunately not. LSU moving on to the second round. NC State Princeton. It's been another sexy upset pick, and I'm gonna make it. I think NC State, they're just kind of not in that. I don't know. They don't have their feel right this year. after losing so much last year. And I think they struggle to score. They struggle to produce good looks. And I think Princeton is going to be a really good matchup for them in terms of just being disciplined and making you work for everything. And they won last year. Give me the Tigers.
We'll also say Wes Moore said that Diamond Johnson is still experiencing pain and no word if she'll be available.
That sounds like probably a no.
That's probably a no. She was ruled out of the ACC tournament well before, and no one ever gets ruled out of the ACC tournament. So not great. And we would love to see Diamond Johnson back on the court for NC State, but it doesn't look like it's gonna happen. So I got Princeton moving on there. So now we go to Dano for the second round, where Miami is not in it.
Yeah, wouldn't pick them if they were there either way.
No, Indiana, Oklahoma State.
Yeah, it's pretty easy for me. Indiana is the clear second best team in this tournament. So yeah.
Yep. Mackenzie Holmes, Grace Berger, whole bunch of good players over there. We got 12-13 matchup coming up for Megan.
Poor Megan.
This is definitely not going to happen.
Do you have one of these teams going to the Final Four?
Do not. No.
No. Okay.
I would obviously Florida Gulf Coast, I think, in this matchup, but
Hey, Cleveland State's gonna be flying high after shutting down Maddie Siegrist and the Villanova Wildcats.
They're gonna hold her to 19 points.
I can't wait for Villanova to beat them by 30 points, and you're all looked up.
I don't know. Villanova. That was shaky.
They were shaky in the Big East tournament, but if you looked at how they finished the regular season, they have not been shaky.
Oh, we're in a tournament though.
Yeah.
Not in the regular season no more. We're not in Kansas anymore. Florida Gulf Coast moving on to the Sweet 16. So I had that in my bracket. Calvin, you had that in your bracket. Dano, did you have that in your bracket?
I do.
I gotta be honest, I still haven't done mine yet.
Okay. All right. So Florida Gulf Coast. Oh God, Florida Gulf Coast, Indiana would literally be. I would be dreaming about that for a week. All right. UNLV, LSU, running Rebs. Got it. Calvin.
No. I hope I'm wrong. This is gonna be one of those rooting against my bracket, but no.
LSU moving on, seeing no objections. We move down to the bottom, and that's comes back to me. Did we skip somebody? Did I skip you, Megan? No,
I went.
We're good. Yeah, we're good. All right, Princeton, Utah. I'll go with
this is the 2.0 version of Iowa, Georgia. Same game.
Yeah.
The worst version of the same game.
Yeah, I think Utah will be too much talent, too much offense. Similarly to how I feel about Iowa, just too much offense, too much talent, and they'll overwhelm Princeton, the Ivy League champs. Okay, hey, we got 12. We got doing this all separate. And seeing the 12 seeds right next to each other in the Sweet 16. And we go down here, we got our 11 seed in the Sweet 16 as well.
Chaos.
Gonna happen.
All that to end up with the.
But then our Final Four is gonna end up being boring and ones and twos.
Well, let's see if we can. Well, no.
Let's get FGCU there.
Dano?
Yeah, Indiana. No, I'm not letting that happen.
No, I agree. Indiana's been too good this season.
You're right.
Megan, you got an interesting pick here. LSU, Utah.
That's tough.
I hate this game because I don't think either of these teams are good.
I know where you're going, though.
But she thinks UCLA is good. Jesus Christ!
I think UCLA has more potential.
Yeah. All right, so you gotta make a pick here.
I don't want to pick either, though. Can I skip?
No, you gotta pick. You gotta pick.
You want to strike yourself already?
Put it
I just hate I think they're both overrated. That's all. I don't want to put Kim Mulkey in my Elite Eight, but I think it's gonna be LSU. I really don't want to do it.
Wow, that's not what I saw coming. Megan hates the only thing Megan hates more than Iowa's defense is LSU.
Yes, this is true.
I'm using a strike.
Mississippi.
Hold on. I'm using a strike.
Hey, you just gotta put them on the map. If the team's East Mississippi, Megan's taking them. We got a strike. We got a strike from Dano.
You're going with Utes?
I'm going with the Utes. I
right.
think they have an edge coaching. I think they have an edge with their diversity of scoring. I think diversity of scoring is a huge thing that we don't talk about enough.
That's true.
And
I know. I want to push back on just like the coaching.
Yeah, I hate Kim Mulkey as a person, but she's better coach.
I'm sorry. Like I've seen Utah go into a zone when they have to, and we saw what happened when Tennessee did it for a half.
Yeah.
Are we saying Lynn Roberts is not a respected coach? Or y'all?
No, I'm just saying that Kim Mulkey has won national championships, and
I think Lynn Roberts needs to make a Final Four before we put her with Kim in a basketball context, strictly.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, coaching your team, knowing your team's strengths. I think Lynn knows her team better than Kim knows hers. I'm just saying it.
I think the LSU is certainly limited, right? Like there's an easy, like, yeah, if he goes zone and it works out, you'll have a good chance, but I don't know. So we have a strike. So Dano's voting for Utah. Calvin, who do you want to vote for here?
I'm gonna go with LSU.
You're gonna go with LSU.
I think for me, it's like Utah is not a rebounding team, and I think against Angel Reese, if you don't rebound the ball, you're gonna be trouble.
Well, I need some stats here. Hold on. Let me look at some four factors. I haven't considered this matchup a whole lot. I believe I had Michigan here for some reason. Even though I don't think Michigan's good. I just didn't want to pick LSU.
Wow.
Yeah, it was just
I feel like this is another region that, like, outside of Indiana, I don't want to pick anyone. No, obviously, because I love them. But like, I don't want to pick anyone in this bottom half of this bracket.
I don't know. I'm taking whoever advances to lose to Indiana, but
yeah. All right, I'll go with So wait, Dana voted for Utah. Calvin voted for.
Yep.
Right.
LSU. It's you, Gabe.
I know it's me. I'm trying to think here on my feet, and I'm not particularly great at that. Actually, I am. That's something I list on my resume as a skill. All right, we're gonna go. I'm going with LSU. I'm going with LSU to move on.
Cool. Waste strike. Good job, Dano.
Sorry, Dano. I was just. It's okay. I had to go with my gut.
It's okay. Smart pick.
All right, so we got Indiana, LSU. Megan just went. So Calvin, this is you. Indiana, LSU.
Indiana.
Yeah.
Next.
All right, next.
I love how this one was just a 1-3 matchup was so quick.
Oh, hey, diversity of scoring. Whoever brought that up, Indiana, diversity of scoring.
Yeah.
Yes, 100%. I brought it up.
I do actually think, and people might disagree with me considering you all think Villanova's going to lose in the first round, but I think of the top 4 seeds here, Villanova is the worst matchup for Indiana. Like, I think
that's in the toughest.
Dude,
yeah.
Dude, you got to get outside of the East Coast more. Like,
I would say Miami's the toughest matchup, but
I mean,
actually though, I have a great look. If Miami, Indiana happens, you guys are going to hear a lot about that because I have a lot of points.
Oh, yes.
I have a lot of points. I'm just not sure.
I just think that Indiana would have a very difficult time with Maddie Siegrist. I don't think they have.
I mean, so does everyone, but
yeah,
Maddie Siegrist scores 20 to 25 in all their losses too. Like, you just gotta not get beat by anyone else.
All right, but so she can also score 40, and that's where the problem comes from.
I don't think she's gonna score 40 in the tournament.
She might.
That'd be what's the record?
She scored 37 against Creighton the other day. I'm pretty sure.
Against the other
Creighton.
Game?
What is
that? And they needed all 37 to beat Creighton.
Love Creighton.
When Creighton shoots the ball well, they're a good basketball team. It's just when they shoot the ball well.
I don't think they shot the ball that well that game either. Guys,
I can't.
Listeners, viewers, love Megan. I love when she has hot takes outside of the Big East, but we got to look out for the Big East homerism.
It's just a Big East.
I called the Big East upset last year. Just gonna say it. I said that Creighton was going to beat Iowa.
She did.
Yeah,
that's true.
Megan knows more than any of us, but she's still wrong. That's my take.
No, I do think Villanova.
I could very well be wrong, but I think that people are underestimating Maddie Siegrist.
Yes, but it's a win for this podcast to get Cleveland State to the second round. Okay, it's a win for the podcast.
It is. It's a win for the podcast. I'm not underestimating.
It's an even bigger win to get FGC.
Yeah,
bigger win to get FGCU to the Sweet 16. Right. That's like a crap.
It is. That was my goal coming in. The whole goal.
These two games right here, Portland and FGCU. Really happy about that. Okay, anything else on Greenville 2?
No.
Greenville Dose, the Deuce. Going down to Seattle 3, one of the weirdest brackets you're gonna see, in my opinion. Let's pick the 1 and 16, 1 and 2s. Are we sure about UConn? Sure.
Vermont. I don't know. Vermont's feisty.
Body clock not a factor. Not a factor for Vermont heading to UConn. Also, I think Chattanooga, Virginia Tech's gonna be fun. Just with Poppy, the former Virginia Tech assistant at Chattanooga. That's gonna be some cute stuff. And
storyline.
We all know Kenny Brooks is like the cutest man in the entire sport. So
yeah, absolutely.
Be very happy for him. Let's give it one more twirl of the wheel.
I'm so glad I have 1 strike left. Wait, I have 2 strikes left, right? I didn't end up using it. Oh yeah, that's good.
Dano.
Get me started. All right. Where are we picking first? South Dakota State.
Yeah, sure.
Yep.
Yeah, I actually think this one's
I don't
like
think anyone's gonna order. Yeah.
I'm against every Pac-12 team except Stanford, so and Utah.
You're all hating on me for hating on the Midwest, but we've got real West Coast takes.
Well, you also hate on the West Coast. Just a giant swath of the country.
What do I hate on the West Coast?
Except for UCLA.
I picked Stanford.
You did pick
Stanford.
She
did. Yeah, okay. No.
Okay, fair enough. So just the middle of the country. Just Megan would not do well in the presidential primaries. Oh, here we go. Her worst nightmare. Her worst nightmare. We're going between Iowa State and Toledo, the Midwestiest of the Midwest.
This is an easy Iowa State pick in my book. I think Iowa State is not going to have any trouble.
Wow, really?
Is Toledo saucy? Yeah, I think that's
I'm not that high on Iowa State, but like I think that Ashley Jones and the fact that they usually shoot the 3 pretty well is probably enough in that
Kanisha
one.
Lockett,
Toledo got the dogs in them, you know.
They beat Michigan on the road.
Yeah, first loss of the season for Michigan.
But that is a lot more confident than I was expecting anyone to be.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it's.
I don't know.
But no,
we're also not putting any more 12 seeds in the Sweet 16, so I'm gonna cut that off.
The other thing is, was anyone using a strike here?
No, that's fine.
So none of us feel strongly enough to use a strike, despite them burning a hole in our pocket. So just I've used 1, Dano's used 1, Megan's used 2.
Regretting that.
I'm saving it for UConn.
So
I'm also saving it for UConn.
Oh my.
So Megan just went. We're gonna go Calvin. Tennessee versus St. Louis.
Yeah, this is a beatdown in my opinion. I am actually, to be fair, I'm betting St. Louis plus 23.5, but this is gonna be 15 to 20 point game. This is the worst 13 seed. They could have been a 15 seed, and I don't think they covered that number. Maybe they don't. This could be a 30-point game. St. Louis has been awesome in the last month. They were absolute garbage for November, December. They haven't been above 500 all year. And you have to give them credit going through win the A10 as the 7th seed, being great in February and March. But they can't touch Tennessee. They just can't. This is the worst 13th seed on the board, and I don't think it's gonna be close.
And Tennessee's kind of gotten their stuff together lately.
They have.
So I don't think. Yeah, I think that's going to be a walkover for the most part. We come to another slash line game, and while we're there, it's a tie game right now between Illinois and Mississippi State. I know this doesn't matter to you, listener. You know who won that game, but I think it's going to be some good finishes here in the first 4 with these teams. We have Purdue and St. John's over on the slash line here. It's me. Oh, it's me. I get to pick. Ooh, I'm going North Carolina. I think Purdue's pretty good. I think St. John's is pretty good. I don't think either of those teams are as good as North Carolina. And I do think North Carolina is struggling a bit right now, especially offensively, but I think they have a lot of pent-up offensive energy after playing Duke and putting up whatever garbage points they put up. That was a terrible game. So I think North Carolina's going to come out, play much better, and they move on to the second round in Seattle 3. And then we go to Dano for Ohio State. James Madison
will probably cover, but Ohio State, like, at home for sure.
Yeah. Any dissent? No. Okay. Ohio State press defense. Also, I heard JC Sheldon's coming back next year. So at this point, I'm the third pick in the WNBA draft. So we'll see about that.
Love that.
Ohio State. Moving on. All right, we go to Megan for Baylor, Alabama. Would be a pretty good football game.
Oh, that's a tough pick.
Yeah, I think this is going to be a close one. I'm going to go with Alabama. I think they're the better team overall, but this game doesn't like do a lot for me, honestly. But Alabama.
I know Calvin loves them, and I've been off Alabama kind of all year, but I don't know. Baylor's got Sarah Andrews. She got that dog in her. They got some freshmen who are fearless, and won't care. I think great coach. I think it's going to be an awesome game. I would take Baylor, but I'm not going to use my strike.
All right, so we got our second round set here in Seattle 3, and now it is. Did Calvin who just made a pick? Dano just made a pick.
I did.
No, Megan just made a pick. Megan, you made a pick. So now we're going to Calvin. Virginia Tech, South Dakota State. Honestly, kind of a good matchup, but who are you going with?
I'm gonna get striked on this one, but we're gonna go with the Jackrabbits. Yeah. I mean, I think Virginia Tech's gonna be first strike.
I can't believe I have to use my second strike. But no, you use it, Gabe. Please use it, Gabe.
I'll use my strike. I'll use my strike. But no, I want to hear the explanation. Calvin, explain yourself before we get into.
I mean, South Dakota State has at least as good of an offense no one knows about. First off, they're actually two similar teams. They make shots, they rebound on the defensive end at least. It's a lot closer than a 1-9. Virginia Tech's the weakest 1 seed. I know Stanford has a really low floor, but just in terms of their overall performance throughout that, Stanford also, can we agree, has a way higher ceiling than Virginia Tech. So you're talking about easily the strongest 9 seed, weakest 1 seed, teams that match up really well. And I don't know. Like, I'm not saying that necessarily South Dakota State's going to be favored, but the bracket's about picking. If it's close, I'm going to upset. So I'm going with South Dakota State.
Yeah, I've been trying to. Sorry. I was going to.
We're using it. We're using a strike, but I want to hear about your Virginia Tech theory.
I've been trying to figure out why I'm not super high on them, because they are a 1 seed, and I do think they finished the season really well, and I think it's because they didn't play anyone outside of the ACC. They played 1 game against Tennessee in November, December, and they didn't play a single other team outside of their conference that's on a 10 seed or higher in this bracket. I don't know. I think to find success in Mars, you have to play in a good conference, and you get strength of schedule from playing a good conference. But if you haven't played anyone outside of your conference, when those are the teams that you see 3 times a year, every year, and you're used to how they play, I feel like it's hard to be successful when you haven't played anyone other than those teams.
Okay, so they played Liberty. Liberty's pretty good.
They're not in this field.
Well, it's because they play in the ASUN, but they went through their whole conference tournament, beat our Sweet 16 team in FGCU. They lost them in the ASUN championship game, but they did beat. I think did they beat them twice? No, they only beat Liberty beat FGCU once. I get your point about them not playing anybody. I just think the ACC was very good this year. B, different. There's enough difference.
There's enough styles. That's fair.
Well,
I think
it's also
matters.
Different. Duke played differently. Virginia played differently.
Yeah.
Wake Forest was a completely different team. Same with BC, Miami. All those teams changed a lot, so it wasn't like they had all of that institutional knowledge. In my opinion, Syracuse as well. Not that they're good teams. I understand. I get the point about the non-conference, but I understand why you don't feel like they're that strong. Also, they kind of snuck up the ladder real quick. They went from they were a 4 seed before the ACC tournament, right up to the top. Not playing a particularly tough ACC tournament schedule either. I get it. I just think Kenny Brooks
Yeah, I think it's maybe like less relevant in the ACC because like it's a conference that plays a lot of different styles. Because I think you see it more in like if you look like the Big Ten, like almost everyone in Big Ten plays a very similar style of basketball. In the SEC, almost everyone plays a very similar style of basketball. Not necessarily that way in the ACC, but it still concerns me some.
So I'm using my strike. Who agrees with me? Dano, Megan.
I'll let Megan pick first.
I'm like so on the fence. I don't think I have this like picked in my bracket, but like I very well could see it happening.
So are you staying?
I don't know.
I don't know if it mattered. Dano was going to use his strike.
Yeah, I think Dano's in agreement.
Yeah, so it doesn't really matter.
I don't know. I had to read my text from Calvin this morning, just all about how Virginia Tech is the weakest 1 seed. They're not that good. I just like I think they sneakily are I think they're kind of elite. They just know how to win.
Oh yeah.
They have.
For the record, I didn't say they're not that good.
So many pieces.
They're not as
the
good
worst
as Stanford,
1 seed.
Indiana. They're the worst 1 seed, which we can agree they're worse than South Carolina and Indiana. So you're just talking about Stanford.
I trust them over Stanford. I trust them over any 2 seed here. I think they're going to.
I trust them over Stanford.
I don't.
I trust them over Stanford because like Dan was saying, like the floor. Well, I don't know. Maybe Megan said it, but like the floor for Stanford is really low. Like the floor for Stanford is really low. I don't think Virginia.
I think the floor for Virginia Tech is pretty low too.
Yeah, Virginia Tech lost to Clemson, so they have a floor there.
Yeah, but I understand that they lost to Clemson. But wait, did they lose to Clemson this year?
They did lose to Clemson.
Losing
to Washington. This is the same thing.
Like 2 months ago. Not
Washington was like 2 months ago.
Yeah, but also like this 11-game
Washington
win streak.
was 1 month
who
ago.
have they really beaten in that stretch other than Duke, which we all like agree that we don't really trust Duke. So like,
okay, who is South Dakota State beating in conference? All right, you know what?
Yeah,
Megan.
I agree. I agree on that part about the South Dakota State. I'm just saying that I don't. I said I'm staying with Calvin.
Okay.
So Dana, we're moving.
What do we do then?
We're switching.
You have to vote.
No, you pick. You have the vote to pick, the deciding vote. Do you want Virginia Tech?
But then we're even. We're 2-2.
No,
like,
only the 3 of us.
No,
vote
only the 3 of us.
Strike.
Oh, yes, absolutely. Thank God. Thank God.
Okay.
Thank God.
Virginia Tech. Virginia Tech, one of the best coach teams in the country. I'll say that. There are few coaches.
I like their coach.
I think I got like 2 coaches that I trust more than Kenny Brooks in this tournament. One of them happens to be in this bracket, though, which is kind of a bummer. Let's go to Iowa State, Tennessee, where I thought we would have the most disagreement in this bracket. It is me picking. Gabe is picking. I know. Actually, we're not going to have that much disagreement. We're going with Tennessee. I don't think any of us really believe in Iowa State, and Tennessee's playing some good basketball. Yeah. Tennessee, moving on. Yep.
Toss up for me. Yeah, don't care about it.
All right. North Carolina, Ohio State. Over to you, Dano. This is an interesting one.
Buckeyes. I just think North Carolina relies way too much on 2 players, unless they are hitting. And I love seeing Hodgson back. I think she's probably not talked about enough on a national level. And she hits big shots in big games. Like national TV, I swear, every time they're on national TV, she hits 3. So, but I think being at home, very nice. Always a nice advantage there. So I'm taking the Buckeyes.
William Mary's finest, Eva Hodgson, not going on to the Sweet 16. Ohio State. Anybody have a strike? I mean, I kind of agree. I like North Carolina's not good against the press. They're going to get pressed. It kind of depends on if Sheldon. If Sheldon's not playing, I think there's a pretty good chance. But I think Sheldon.
Does anyone know what the deal is with that? Like, she's been in and out. I feel like
she played in she played in the tournament, kind of ramped up and played in the entire comeback against Indiana, I believe. Like all that whole that long stretch. So I think she's back. I hope.
I feel like she was back and then she stopped playing and now she's back again. So hopefully she's really back.
Yeah, it seems like she's ramped up to competition and is ready for the tournament. So Ohio State on to the Sweet 16. Now I move down. Wait, who has this? It's Dano.
No, I just
Dano just picked.
Right? Oh, Dano just picked. Damn it! I really wanted that to happen. Bama, UConn. I wonder where Megan's going here.
I'm gonna go with UConn.
UConn too.
Yeah, I don't think there's that much of a surprise there. They're gonna be at home. They're I think just the better team in general. I don't think this one's gonna be that hard. I think it's harder the first round, but I still think they're gonna be all right.
And AZ 100% full go, right? No.
Yeah.
No issues.
Yeah.
All right.
Airballed quite a bit, especially in that fourth quarter.
Okay, she had practiced 2 days before the Big East tournament. I think her shot's gonna be just fine. I wouldn't worry about it too much.
We'll see. We'll see about that.
Let's see. How can I get this? All right. We got Virginia Tech, Tennessee to Calvin.
I saved all my strikes, but because I thought we would have these ones that we disagree on, but the only ones we disagree on are the ones that I'm picking. So I should have used my strike a long time ago. But you guys might strike me on this one too. First off, because I don't think Virginia Tech's going to be here. But even if they are, Tennessee and Virginia Tech played already. Tennessee lost by 3. Rickea Jackson didn't play in that game. So I'm going with Tennessee in this one.
I'm scared now. I mean, we already striked the Virginia Tech game. I don't want to get into this debate.
Well, you only have one more. Here's the thing: you only have one more strike, and in the Final Four, we all vote on it anyways.
Yeah. All right.
So if you want to, if you have any disagreement, now is the time to.
I mean, this is coming from a Tennessee hater all year.
And it does not matter what happens down here. Someone's getting struck. So I got one. Calvin's got one.
Yeah.
Whoever's picking here. And I think Megan still has one. Yeah, someone's getting struck on this game for sure.
All right. Fine. I use it. I believe in Virginia Tech.
Okay.
I don't believe it. I don't believe in Kelly Harper in March. Sue me.
Okay. All right. Megan. Megan, your vote first.
I am gonna go with Tennessee. I just think that I don't know that what Virginia Tech's going to do with the combination of Rickea Jackson and Jordan Horston. I think Tennessee will probably win this, as much as I also don't really believe in Kelly Harper in March.
I think Taylor Stoll is one of the best defenders in the country.
But there's two of them. You have to let
Jordan Horston shoot, please. Yeah, please let Jordan Horston shoot. I'm sorry. The Jordan Horston love on the timeline of Twitter is out of control.
She's a good player. Good basketball player.
Solid.
No, she's a good player, and she's gotten. Look, I'll say this for Jordan. She last year, would have these possessions where she just kind of lights the ball on fire. She's having far less of those this year. And I think it's been a big boon for Tennessee. I do think Rickea Jackson is going to be a challenge, Megan. I agree. I just think, if we're concerned about the coaches on one side, I'm going to go with the coach that I really, really trust. So I will also be siding with Dano and rendering this challenge successful. So
my other argument is that Tennessee is ready for this game. They've played a lot.
Yeah, what about Virginia Tech? But Tennessee hasn't played anyone for real.
Tennessee has played half the teams in this bracket
a month ago, in freaking November. That
still matters. Yeah, it does.
And the players didn't play. Rickea Jackson wasn't in a lot of those games. Horston missed some of they weren't a full team in those games. I don't think it I just don't think the November schedule matters that much. I just don't. I know it sucks for UConn because that's when they make their hay. But I just don't.
I feel like the UConn is the perfect example of why it does, because think of all those years UConn played in
I think UConn,
and they still were able to win in March.
Yeah, they had the entire WNBA All-Star team on the team.
Okay,
right?
But even when you go after the Stewie years, they didn't win national champions, but they've been to the Final Four for how many years playing in lesser conferences?
But that doesn't apply to Tennessee because those teams they lost all of those games first and foremost. They lost all of the games they played against good teams.
You learn from losing.
Yes, you do, but you don't get better. You don't get better from losing. And those teams they didn't. They weren't full and they weren't complete in those games, and it was so long ago. I don't think it's going to matter much. Virginia Tech, moving on. Now we get to the fun stuff. Was that Calvin? Calvin picked that, right?
That was me.
Mhm.
It's on me. Wow.
Just killing Calvin to see Virginia Tech in the Elite Eight.
I haven't used any of my own strikes, but I've made all of you use way more strikes than anyone else has. So I'll take that.
I know. That's a good point. Valid.
That's a good
Valid.
point. All right, let's get. I mean, I'm doing this just for fun, anyways. But I do think Ohio State is winning that ball game. Well, I think they have a good chance to win that ball game, and here's why. As Dano mentioned, a lot of minutes on those legs at UConn. UConn's still working people back in. Obviously, they're working in AZ Fudge. She has to get back into play. She'll probably do that in the first weekend. I think they'll be probably set by the end of the first weekend. Just think Ohio State's press is going to give them problems because UConn basically never plays against the press. They just it doesn't happen that often, and so I'm sure they're pretty good against it. And this is the first game of the weekend. Damn, that really kind of messes up what I was going to say, but it's fine. Long time to prepare for Gino doesn't bode well for Ohio State. I just think Ohio State can pull this out. They're relying on some freshmen to do it, but I just think they're going to have stronger legs. They're going to have more bodies to throw at a team that is not quite prepared for a press, because a press is a very difficult thing to do in practice, especially if your team does not press often. And UConn, not like a full 40-minute pressing team, don't press particularly often on defense.
I just want to put some stats to you, Gabe, real quick before whoever else, because when you brought that up, I pulled up Synergy. UConn is in the bottom 10% of the country in percentage of the time that they face the press. So good work, Gabe. You're on it with that.
I was looking at their Synergy. I just didn't want to bring up all the numbers at once. Defensively, they play the press in the 22nd percentile. That's how often they do it. So it'd just be hard for them to practice against it. And I'm leaning into the press in March.
I do think, like, if there's a point guard, I don't think there's a point guard I trust more to handle adversity than Nika Mule. But I'm just like not that afraid of the pieces that UConn has. Like, I mean, they play in. They've lost games to teams they shouldn't lose to. Granted, injuries happen, whatever, but
had some Ohio State not lost games to teams they shouldn't lose to.
I mean, they lost their starting point guard for the season. They lost their starting shooting guard for the season.
To finish the season.
I'm not counting Paige as like a significant, like Paige is out of the whatever.
Oh no, I'm not. I haven't
State
talked about Paige, but
Ohio State. But I'm saying, like, injuries aside, like, Ohio State doesn't lose to Marquette. Ohio State doesn't lose to St. John's.
Ohio State has not really lost.
Ohio State lost to Purdue, which is right
Purdue's in this tournament.
And so is St. John's right next to them.
Yeah, barely.
Ohio State is 6-7 to finish the regular season. They are sub 500 over the last 13 games.
Ohio State beat Indiana. Okay, we've seen their the last showing of them real bad, but we've seen their ceiling. I mean, they're another team, I guess, whatever. But either way, I think UConn. If you just had to, if you gave me the simplest odds, yeah, UConn for sure. But like, I would not be shocked if Ohio State beat UConn.
And to Megan's point, a lot of people in the Big Ten have a press that they run fairly often, whereas UConn doesn't quite have that going on. So Megan, are you going to use your strike? Well, I guess it's
unless Calvin wants to use his. Yeah, I'm going to use it.
All right, so Megan's using a strike. Give us the argument for UConn specifically over Ohio State here.
Yeah, I mean, I do think UConn will struggle with the press a little bit because they've struggled with turnovers all season. I get that part. But they do have two ball handlers now. That's something they haven't really had in quite a while. But with having AZ Flood back, AZ can play the point too. They have 2-point ball handlers. I think they'll figure that out. But the thing that, for me, it's like Ohio State's defense after the press, once you get in the half court, especially in the paint, it's like non-existent. There is no defense in the paint. And UConn has Aaliyah Edwards, and they have Dorky Uhas. And like Aaliyah's probably going to have like a 20-point double-double in that game. And Dorka could do the same. And I think that like there's just no way that they're going to be able to compete with that.
Yeah.
I'm just saying I wouldn't be shocked. I think UConn will win though.
Well, so are you where are you voting for, Dano? Because then that makes Calvin the decider.
I will vote UConn.
Oh wow! So then Calvin, you're irrelevant. The challenge has been
My
successful.
opinion,
The strike, the strike
Wow.
is successful. We got
just-
UConn.
I'm being what do you call it? Safe here. That's all.
Okay, well, let's see. So we got now we're here on Dano because I just made a pick. So Dano gets the
Virginia
pick.
Tech. Virginia Tech. Fast as possible. Fast as possible.
Virginia Tech. Moving on. Yeah, sure. I mean, I agree. So I'm not using a strike.
I'm out of strikes, so Calvin, you've got to
No,
do
you
it.
do have. You do technically get. Remember, we said if you get the third one right, you get another one,
I didn't know that. Well, then I'll use it. It's the last one to strike on anyway.
and that will be your
Okay,
last.
we've-
Strike.
Like this is
We're done with strikes. There's no more things
All
to
right.
strike on.
Okay. Let's not go into deep analysis on this. Let's just
Make picks. It's 7:56. Yeah, let's go.
Well, yeah. All right. Yeah, I'll go. I don't know. I'm gonna vote UConn just to change up. Famous
Gabe,
UConn
I
homer,
just
Gabe.
did the same thing last time, right?
Yeah.
I get it.
It's hard to pick against UConn in this circumstance.
Yeah, I feel like there's a reason they've gone to 14.
We know where
I'm just
we know
hanging
where
out
Calvin's
over
picking. We know where
Yeah,
Calvin's
I mean,
picking.
my pick hasn't mattered in quite a while. So.
I'm sorry.
Onward. Onward.
Wow, we're so
To the final.
basic. Another one.
Basic. We have 3 1 seeds and a little known program out of Connecticut coming to the Final Four. Man, I really, we're gonna see a lot of UConn fans in Dallas. So let's start on the left-hand side here in the Final Four. South Carolina, Stanford. Everyone, well, raise your hand if you are picking South Carolina here. 3, 2, 1.
For listeners, that was all 4 of us.
Oh yeah, for the audio only people, all 4 of us raise our hands. Stanford's just not like. I mean, they played this game earlier, and it was a really good game. Should have won.
They should. The thing is, like, this is the type of game that Stanford gets up for. So, Stanford's ceiling is what we saw in that game. Stanford's ceiling can win this game, but they have to get up for it because their average performance isn't going to be good enough.
I feel like they do get up for
Agreed.
those usually, but like they didn't last year in the Final Four.
True.
They just played so badly in last year's Final Four.
Yeah.
I'm not sure it was a getting up. It was just like they just didn't. They just like completely flubbed it. It was so. I mean, I do think this.
Should we talk about South Carolina some here because we haven't talked about them.
We can talk about them when we
when we do the championship. Okay.
Yeah, when we do the championship. We'll talk about them. All right. On the other side, saucy matchup: Indiana, UConn, and we're all voting here. So I don't really know how we should do this because we don't. Everyone close you 3 close your eyes. Don't worry, people. Yes.
Okay.
Close your eyes. Close your eyes. Okay. If you're voting for Indiana, put your hand up. If you're voting for UConn, put your hand up. Okay, open your eyes. It was 3-1 in favor of Indiana to go on to the championship.
I wonder who that one was.
The championship game over
knows?
UConn. Last year, we had a similar situation, speaking of that Stanford game, where I thought Stanford was going to roll over UConn. Bella Page just kind of had amazing.
I also thought Stanford was going to win that game. Yeah.
Also, I want to remind everybody about how AZ's shown up in big games, like in her freshman year.
Wait.
What happened in the national championship?
Oh, no, I mean, it's not quite fair to put it on AZ.
She had the stomach bug.
Yeah.
She was sick.
Flu game?
Yeah.
Michael Jordan didn't stop him.
I mean, I remember a weekend Calvin was sick and he hit like 5 straight bets. Like some people rise to occasions.
Hey, you just gotta have that dog in you.
You just have to have that dog in you. I think
Oh my
Izzy will
God.
play fun.
This game would be so much better though than UConn, South Carolina. This game will be sick.
Indiana, South Carolina. Good. I mean, it's going to be fun matchups across the board. And this is where we get to talk about South Carolina. This team's pretty good, I'd say. Here's a question, though. Here's a question, and anyone can answer this. Are they better than they were last year?
Numbers
Defensively,
wise,
maybe.
yeah. Compared to the
Numbers-wise,
field,
for sure.
Yeah.
Numbers-wise, for sure.
The thing about last year's team, I mean, granted, Zia Cook is progressively gotten a lot better.
Yes.
But last year in the tournament, I don't think they win without Destiny.
Yeah, I was gonna bring her up too.
She played phenomenal. And I think I trust her making shots a lot more, even though Zia Cook's been good than Zia Cook. It's hard for any team to have the size to compete with South Carolina.
You don't have the size. No one has the size to compete. I mean, size to match. You can't. Match.
Yeah. But diversity of scoring. I think another thing, Mackenzie Holmes' ability to draw fouls and ability to stay out of foul trouble. I feel like she's never really in foul trouble is huge. I mean, I think Megan
She's had a couple.
But Megan sent a text early in the season about or probably midway through the season about who the best bigs are. It's like it's hard to leave Mackenzie Holmes off that list. Footwork's elite. It's just getting her the ball and being able to make a move on one of the best defenders we've ever seen in college basketball is so hard. I think I'd give South Carolina 7.5 points in this game. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Favored by 8.
Yeah. No, I think probably have South Carolina somewhere around there. It might get down to 5 depending on how Indiana gets to this point. If they steamroll everyone, that could get lower, but that's probably about right. I'm with you. I mean, the answer to my own question was I don't think South Carolina, the players are better. Like Zia found her shot again. I think the team spacing is very off though. Even more so than it was last year because Leigh Boston's essentially a power forward this year, right? Like she's playing next to Camila Cardoso all the time now. And now there's just such little spacing that it can get really, really difficult to score if you can't get the ball inside. And this Indiana team can somewhat prevent you from getting the ball inside. They're really good at not allowing shots at the rim. You can get to the paint though. So it'll be a floater range. It'll be kind of tougher shots for South Carolina, I think, in this game. I think it's going to be a lot of Zia Cook. And that can go, I mean, depending on how you feel about her. I'm a big fan, so it's fine by me. But a lot of people may not be as confident in her making those big shots. I think it's going to come down to her and her shot making from the mid-range. I think she's going to make those shots, and I think South Carolina wins. So that's my vote. Does anyone else want to give their explanation and vote?
Yeah, for me, I think the thing with South Carolina here is the amount of, the size, obviously, but Indiana has Mackenzie Holmes, so they don't really have anyone else that has that size in the post. And so then when you put Aaliyah Boston and Camila Cardoso out there, I don't know that they're going to be able to stop them both. It's actually why I voted for UConn partially before too, is because they also have the two trees, not as big as South Carolina's trees, but the two trees effect with Uhas and Edwards. And I just don't know that Indiana's going to have the answer for that.
Yeah, well, no one does.
No one's had
it.
I think I'm getting outvoted here, but I have to go with Indiana in this game for a lot of reasons. Sure. And everything you guys said is true. Indiana can't match up size-wise because no one can. It's Mackenzie Holmes and perimeter players. They have size on the perimeter, but not down low outside of Holmes. With Zia Cook, they have 2 really good perimeter defenders they can throw at her, Chloe Moore-McNeil and Grace Berger. Like you said, Mackenzie Holmes, they haven't seen a post scorer like her yet, and someone who can draw fouls like that. And I'm not comparing Indiana's defense to Iowa at all because Indiana is worlds better than Iowa on defense. But Indiana does do the 2 things that, Gabe, you mentioned that Iowa does on defense. They rebound on defense, and they make shots, which in those 2 against South Carolina are even more important against anyone else because South Carolina actually isn't good at scoring if they can't get offensive rebounds and they can't get out and into transition. Those are the two ways that they score. If you force them into one shot in the half court, it's an ugly offense, like you talked about with the spacing. They score when they get out and run, and they score on putbacks. If Indiana can box them out and make shots to prevent them from getting into transition, I think Indiana has a real chance. So I'm going with Indiana.
Love it.
I love it.
I mean, I agree. Indiana does have a very, very real chance. I am picking South Carolina still, but that was a really good explanation as to how Indiana wins this game. Dano, you actually you can tie us up here and cause a jump ball here. Help ball. But
well, I mean, I think that's probably the best for the podcast. But what do we do? What happens when that happens?
Someone
has
just
to
needs to be. Someone needs to be convinced.
I mean, Calvin in big games never misses, so I'm rolling with Calvin. And
can we not cause a fight because I literally am overdue to be on another podcast?
Dude,
all right.
I'm changing to Indiana. This podcast is picking Indiana.
Let's go.
Her Hoop Stats as a podcast network, although we don't speak for everyone on this podcast network, I want to make that very clear. Everyone who works for Her Hoop Stats, but we're picking Indiana over South Carolina. Calvin, since you made the most effective argument, what's our final score here? 20 to 24?
We're going 73-70.
73-70 in a bar.
Sarah Scalia, game-winning 3.
Sydney Parrish, just killing it. And there you have it. IU wins their first national championship in basketball.
It would be their first Final Four too.
They've never made the Final Four. Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
They never made the Sweet 16 until 2 years ago.
Hey. Shouts to this wonderful Indiana team for taking down Goliath in South Carolina. So there we go. Hey, Indiana's our champion. We had a lot of fun doing this. We have to get Megan off because it's that time of year. So you'll find her somewhere. But anyways, we had a great time. So I'm Gabe Ibrahim for Dano, for Calvin, for Megan. We really appreciate you listening, watching, and stick around here on the Her Hoop Stats channels because we're going to be talking about March Madness all of March, and it's starting very, very soon. So we'll talk to you soon.